Assalamu alaikum, guys. I am Asif Siraj. Have been working in the Amazon space for the last 4+ years, and have been creating some content on YouTube and social media as well. So now I have just started podcast, and today our first guest is Muhammad Shafan Al Muiz, and he's and also Amazon catalog specialist. He has been working with one of the largest Amazon aggregators as well as Amazon private label sellers. So thank you so very much, Shafan, to joining us today. Just please introduce yourself to the audience who will be watching or who are watching now. And over to you.
Hello, Asif. Hello, everyone. Thank you, first of all, Asif, for having me here. My name is Shafan, and I have been working as an Amazon Seller Center specialist, specialized in catalog management for over 5 years now. I have been privileged to work with top Amazon aggregators, private label sellers, and some small businesses as well. My main, you can say, specialty is troubleshooting catalog and managing the overall Amazon catalog and that specific criteria or that specific field, you can say. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so very much, Shafan. Again, I know that you are a great Amazon troubleshooter. So that's why we have decided to, discuss on those specific topics as well. So today we are diving into key Amazon seller topics like, including ins and out of variation creations and leveraging attribution for success, managing reviews and navigation challenges like disappearing the BSR and country specific uploads as well. So we will starting from the first question is like variation creation for different categories. Why I'm asking the first question regarding the variation, because previously we were able to create variations for the multiple product types, for the multiple categories kind of things. So nowadays it's kind of complicated and kind of complex thing. Amazon has been updated so much, so that's why we need to discuss these things, like what are the new updates and how to tackle those variation issues and troubleshoot those things according to the specific categories. So over to you. What my question is specifically, what challenges do sellers face when variation creation across different categories? Over to you.
Yes, as you said, Asif, that Amazon has become very strict when it's come to creating variations for listings. So earlier, what seller did is like they used to hurl everything into a variation. Could be a T-shirt with a pant, or could be a T-shirt with a hoodie. But nowadays, Amazon is so strict that it wouldn't even allow you to create variation for two different type of shirts. For example, if you are selling a full sleeve shirt and a half sleeve shirt, what Amazon suggests is you better create one variation for full sleeve shirts and one variation for half sleeve shirts. So this is the Amazon's criteria. And Amazon augmenters, you can say the people who are behind the overall Amazon listing management or catalog management, they periodically or timely keep checking different listings. And when they see any such listing, or even sometimes Amazon's bot, when it realizes that something is fishy or something doesn't make sense, it automatically splits your listing. And if you are violating it too many times, this variation policy, you can end up getting a 30-day penalty, or it can even result into account suspension as well. So in today's terms, or in the current times, you can say Amazon has become super strict regarding what goes into a variation, and you need to be very careful about that as well. And when talking about creating variations for different categories, the criteria is a bit different for different categories. For example, Amazon has a different set of attributes that you can create a variation for one category. And then again, it can have a different set of attributes that you can create a variation on for a different set of categories. For example, in clothing category, it will allow you to create a variation of color, size, pack, or you can say these main kind of attributes. But if you move to a different category, you might see that there is no color option over there. Amazon won't allow you to create a color variation for that specific category. And similarly, if you are selling a food item, Amazon can potentially stop you from creating a color variation. Instead, it will give you the option to create variation based on weight, based on size, based on flavor, or these kind of things. So you need to first like check what attributes are available for you to create a variation in a certain category.
Thank you so much, Afan, for briefly discussing the things. One question came in my mind while you were discussing these clothing categories specifically. It is about the drop down for the sizes for all products.
Yeah.
Most of the sellers are really confused, like why our all sizes are not showing, accordingly on the detail page. So they basically don't know Amazon has a specific, categories like clothing, shoes, and all that stuff, like which specifically showing this drop down, and those categories kind of might have like more variations as compared to the other categories. That's why
Yeah.
there will be a drop down. Apart from this, another thing is, which is also related to this, most of the sellers are also really confused regarding the title showing on for these clothing products. Like they are saying why our child essence titles are not showing on the front end. If you could also shed some lights on this as well.
Yeah, sure. Basically, first I will try to answer the parent-child title question. So the answer is some categories are parent dominant, some categories are child dominant. What this means is like for some categories, Amazon has set a rule that only child title will display for all the child essence. And for some categories, Amazon has restricted that only parent ASIN will display for all the child ASINs. So for example, this happens specifically in clothing, shoes, or these kind of categories where the product needs to be more generalized and it is variated based upon the size or color or material or pack size. So for example, let's say I'm talking about a t-shirt. So Amazon says that all the t-shirt variations should have a combined, a precise single parent title that will display on all the child lessons. So basically, when you say that XYZ brand t-shirt, 100% cotton, and casual wear or whatever you say in the title, this title will reflect on all the child lessons as well. So for these categories, you need to create a generic title which will fit to all the child lessons. And Amazon allows you sometimes to append the color or the size at the end of the title. It automatically do that. You don't have to like write the size or the color in the title yourself. It automatically does this job. And on top of that, I will add that sometimes the bullet points are also coming from the parent ASIN. Not sometimes, most of the times for these parent dominated categories. So all these need the bullet points and the title, they need to be generic. For example, let's say I am selling a white t-shirt which is in a variation with other colors, let's say red t-shirts, blue t-shirts. So Amazon says that you create a generic title, but on the back end you can have your child essence title separate as well. So for SEO purposes, it is better to create a general parent title and then do different titles for your child essence. For example, a white t-shirt might have a loads of search volume, but you cannot use this term into your parent's title because the parent title will also be reflected on other colors, red, blue, navy, white, whatever you say. But if you add the white color in the parent title, customer will be confused. They cannot decide like which actual color you will get, whether you are getting a white color or whether you are getting a red color. So for that, you need to delete the white from your title so it doesn't get displayed with the rest of the colors as well. So what you can do here is you can on the back end on your child essence title, you can add white t-shirt. This will help you with your SEO as well. Similarly, if I'm talking about child dominant categories, most of the categories you can say on Amazon are child dominant categories. What this means is like your child title will be displayed on the product page for individual variations. So these are the best kind of categories that we love because it's very easy for the customer to decide what they're getting. There is a clear differentiation as well. So these are two different type of categories. And you also asked that about the drop down thing, like when it appears, what category it specifically it appears on. I would say it's not category specific, even though some categories might only allow you to like show drop down, but it's not very category specific. Amazon gives you a drop down when you exceed a certain limit of variation. For example, if you are having 4 or 5 variations in a parent, it will just simply show the sizes, it won't show you the drop down. But let's say if you have 20 variations in a 20 child lessons in a variation, then definitely Amazon will display drop down, because it will be very rushy on the product page. It will be a bit hard for the customers to decide what they want to do. So it's easier with the drop down this way. So I think it's more of a like number of variation count that matters instead of the category. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Shafan, again for briefly discussing these things. Another question, specifically also related to the variations. When we talk about variations, there's another thing comes like reviews merging. You know what? Like some when you merge SKUs, you will see like for 3 child SKUs, reviews are being merged for all the variations, but some of the child SKUs are not merging the reviews with all the
Sure.
parent family. So what are the best practices for merging reviews across variations, and
So
how
this
we
is like,
can, avoid like kind of pitfalls and, kind of mistakes?
so this is kind of one of the major reasons why you create a variation, other than like showing all your product options on one page. It basically, when you create a variation, it merge all the reviews, that gives your listing a boost. For example, you have 30 reviews on one listing, you have 40 reviews on one listing, and again 30 reviews on another listing. When you combine them all, you will get 100 reviews on all of the listings. So you will gather a lot of social proof, maybe good reviews or bad reviews, it depends on the ratings. But this is one of the main reasons. So as far as your question is like, why don't the reviews don't get merged? So the answer is very simple. It's because the categories are different. For example, two essence might have same categories and the third one have a different category. Or if I like talk in more of technical terms, the GL group and the GL type, it's a backend attribute that only seller support can change, you can say. And if they are not consistent throughout the variation, your reviews and your BSR won't get merged. This is one of the pitfalls that many sellers face, that even though they have created a variation, the BSR is not merging, the reviews are not merging. It's because of that reason. The GL type and the GL product and the category, they are not same, they are not consistent. So you can, to troubleshoot it, simply what you need to do is you need to contact support and you need to check if rather your GL underscore type and GL underscore product and the category, they are all consistent throughout the variation. If they are not consistent, your reviews won't get merged. You need to make them consistent first. You can simply ask seller support to make them consistent. Choose the one that best suits all of your products. And then you can ask seller support, can you please update my GL at product and GL type to these attributes, and they will simply update it, and the reviews will be merged in 24 to 48 hours. So it's that simple, you can say.
Great. Thank you so much. My second question was specifically after the reviews merging is associated with the BSR. You have already touched something about it, but why some of the product detail pages don't show the BSR suddenly after
Yeah.
after showing? Yeah.
So basically, the thing is that when you try to create a variations, what happens is there are changes on Amazon backend as well. Like they are like they are merging the categories, they are merging the GL types, they are merging the product types as well. So what happens is sometimes, let's say if I am selling cookies and my product is ice cream cookies, you can say. So if I am merging ice cream cookies that were earlier in another product type or in another category, but once you have merged, what you have done is you have changed the product type to a different category. So the browse nodes that are in the back end, they are not effective against that category. So the main reason why the BSR disappears is that the browse nodes that are on the back end, they doesn't match with your current category. So there is a mismatch between the browse nodes and the category. So Amazon system cannot really decide which BSR to give. Should it give you the BSR according to the browse node, or should it give you the according to the product type or the category type, you can say. So this is the main reason. So what you need to do here is you need to ask seller support that whether your current browse nodes, they are consistent with the uh, Amazon categorization, Amazon category tree, or if they are not consistent with it. If it's not consistent, you need to make it consistent. And there are plenty of other ways as well, but I won't talk about them because it will then get a lot more technical. So I will keep it simple. So you can simply ask seller support and ask them to please update the browse node to the correct category tree. Let's take a pause. अजान हो रही है तो फिर बाद में.
हाँ जी, मैं भी सोच रहा था. Thank you, Shafan, for briefly again discussing, the BSR thing.
Resume नहीं किया.
Resume किया है. Recording
नहीं,
चल रही है.
मेरे पास पॉज ही आ रहा है.
अच्छा.
चले, अगर आपके साइड पे रिज्यूम है तो ठीक है. अभी हो गया.
हाँ, मेरे साइड पे है.
चले अभी स्टार्ट करते हैं.
अच्छा. Thank you, Shafan, again. Okay. Thank you, Shafan, for briefly discussing the BSR thing, which was a very kind of important topic. Most of the sellers and even service providers are confused, like why this is happening and what are the resolution to this. So again, this the second question is like, it is very kind of complicated thing. It is related to the winning contribution for attributes. Even sometimes you yourself can't change the manufacturer name of your product, your brand. So this is something really weird. I have seen multiple cases for the sellers. So what is this, like, what actually the contribution winning thing, and why someone else can get the winning of your attribute, the contribution winning of your attributes, even your sellers and even your brand registered sellers, sometimes it happens. So how we can tackle this? What is the best resolution to this as well?
So basically how this contribution thing works is like you as a seller, as a non-registered brand seller, you have the lowest level of contribution, and then comes the brand registered seller. They have a higher contribution, and then seller support have even more higher contribution, and then Amazon retail has higher contribution, and then it's kind of a pyramid that goes on. And the highest contribution is like data augmenters. They have the highest contribution. So what's this contribution issue? So basically this contribution could be between different SKUs. This could of the same brand. Like if your brand is selling a certain product and you have 2 or 3 SKUs, it could be like you are competing for contribution between these 3 SKUs. It could be between different marketplaces. For example, if you are selling in UK, you are selling in US, you are selling in Canada. So it could be like you are trying to update something in UK that's not going through because the contribution belongs to the US side of the marketplace. So you need to update your data from the US market. Similar thing is with accounts as well. For example, let's say a brand has employed 2 persons. Let's say one is Asif and one is Shafan. So Shafan was working already on that brand. And he has done more updates than Asif. So Shafan will have higher level of contribution than Asif. So when Asif tries to change something, it won't go through because the contribution belongs to Shafan. So what you need to do here is you can update the content either from Shafan's account, or for Asif to win the contribution, you have to contribute more detail to the products. So here comes the actual question that how can this contribution be won? So basically Amazon give you the contribution rights if you have contributed more useful information towards product. For example, let's say when it's come to sorry
for the interruption, Shafan. Sorry for the interruption. So there are 2 distinct things, like for the brand registered sellers and for the non-brand registered sellers. A person, a seller who has a brand registry, a seller who who have not been a brand registered seller. So there might be like 2 kind of contribution winning issues. For a non-brand registered sellers, like someone else can get their attributes winning contributions.
They can.
And for brand registered sellers, like even on your own marketplaces can get, or even your own multiple accounts where you given child access can get like
Right.
the brand contribution winning. Okay,
Correct.
okay, please go ahead.
Okay, so I was explaining about the images contribution. So, for example, let's say your product has 5 images, and someone else is winning the contribution. So, to win the contribution back, what you have to do is you have to upload more number of images. Let's say 7 images. If you do that, if you upload 7 images, and you can potentially get your contribution back. We have tried this in multiple accounts, and it has worked around 60 to 70% of the times. It's not like 100% legit thing, not legit, it's 100% effective thing, but it has worked in most of the cases, 60-70% cases. So this could be a thing that you can try. And second thing that you can try is, like, if you are a brand registered seller and someone else is winning contribution, and you cannot pinpoint the person or pinpoint the account or SKU that is winning the contribution. So what you can do is you can ask Amazon that you are a brand registered seller and you want to update your own products data, and you cannot, your Amazon is not allowing you to update the data. So what Amazon Support will ask is, they will ask you to provide a manufacturer or brand website, or a catalog, or the actual product, real life product images. So if you cannot win the contribution after like doing everything that's possible, so this is the last stage that you can do. You can provide a link to your website for that specific product, and you can show Amazon that, hey Amazon, see, on this website it's clearly shown that this product is this title and this bullet point and this UPC and stuff like that. And then seller support will update it from their end, because they have higher level of
Yes,
contribution than any other
yes,
seller.
yes. Sometimes those robots,
Yeah.
I most of the time call robots those, not the seller support, we can say. Sometimes those robots even don't consider your website and all the
Yeah.
even real images. So what is the resolution for that, and what is the the second forwarding thing, like moving forward, what we can do, what are the next steps, further actions we need to take?
So basically, if a seller support person is not listening to you, they are giving you the same reply. What you can do is you can try to append a file within the case. When you attach a file, it's saying that 70-80% of the time it's gets you a real person instead of a bot. So if you attach a file, if you do attachment with the message, it will get you a real person that can help you resolve the issue. Or second thing that you can do is you can ask for a live support specialist, live channel specialist that can help you with your issue. Live channel specialists are like highly trained personals. They are at a upper level than the seller support. They have more authority, they have more access than the seller support, and they can definitely help you with these kind of things. So in that case, you always need to ask for a specialist, or you can ask for a supervisor as well, because if your backend is stuck, either Amazon have to refresh your background, or you have to delete your listing for more than 24 hours, which is more likely not suitable for most of the brands. Because let's say if a product is selling 500 units a day, it will be like a huge loss for the seller. So they would prefer not to delete the product. So the only option that we are left with is, like, we need to get a live support specialist that can refresh your listing from the backend, or they can contribute the same information that you are trying to update on your listing from their end. So they have to update the same data from the Amazon's backend, and most of the cases it will go through.
Great, great. Thank you so very much, Shafan, for all the discussions, for all the knowledge. And I can say it's not knowledge, it's a wisdom you have, because you have knowledge as well as a very great exposure and experience with one of the largest sellers as well as aggregators. So thank you very much for sharing your wisdom with us and with all the
More
audience
than happy.
who are watching and who will be watching in the future. So is there anything else you want to share, any tip kind of thing at the end? Because I can see like we are in the last minute.
Okay, so basically, the thing is that whenever you are troubleshooting catalog, you always, like, 90% of the time you have to contact support. And with support, the best thing is you need to call them. If you are trying to email them or chat support, like you are trying to chat with them, they are not as effective as they are on call, because on call they have more highly trained person available on call. So if you want to get your issue resolved quickly, definitely call them instead of like waiting for their email reply or waiting for them to get back to you on chat. So that was the tip from my end, and I think this knowledge would be useful for anyone who will be watching our video.
Hopefully for the sellers as well as the service providers, we can say. And again, thank you so very much for joining us today and sharing all the valuable knowledge with the audiences.
Sure.
And hopefully we'll be catching with you soon again in the future with another topic.
Sure. And
Thank you so much.
thank you so much again, Asif, for having me here. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you have joined. Thank you.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.